And I think that's relevant. That's relevant to understanding whether there's this genocidal intent vis-a-vis Gaza, because it suggests an attempt generally, a climate generally, which is aimed at destroying the Palestinian people. And hence you see these corollary actions in the West Bank, which don't, there is no, Hamas isn't in control in the West Bank. Hostages haven't been taken to the West Bank. And yet you're seeing persecutory actions happening there. So I'm not able to do justice to the topic of genocide in 6 or 7 minutes. I just wanted to give you a flavour of the kinds of considerations that are involved when we talk about genocide. It's not a light charge to make, it's not something that we say lightly, and it's something that's difficult to prove. But I think that this operation has certain features that really point in that direction. And I think it's important. Why genocide is potentially important? There are three main reasons. So the first, as I've already alluded to, is that it suggests, and I think this is an important point to make and one that's not emphasized enough, it suggests that Israel's military action in Gaza is illegitimate, that it's not really military action in the proper sense of the word. So even when we talk about war crimes, right, when we talk about serious violations of humanitarian law, such as carrying out indiscriminate attacks or attacks that are disproportionate, there's a lot of talk of that in the media, disproportionate attacks, there's the notion, there's an implicit assumption there that there is a legitimate military reason for the attack, and it's just perhaps not being carried out properly or in accordance with the rules of war. Whereas when you talk about a genocidal attack, what you're really saying is there is no proper military objective. This isn't really a war. This isn't actually a military assault. This is an attempt to destroy a people. And therefore, the attacks aren't merely outside of the rules of war. The operation in itself lacks legitimacy. So I think that's one important aspect of talking about genocide in particular. Same can be said, by the way, if we would talk about it as a crime against humanity. A similar framing then arises, which questions the legitimacy of the assault in its entirety. I'll wrap up, yeah. And the second thing to say is about accountability. So the Genocide Convention, if it is being violated, has important considerations. First of all, it puts an onus on state signatories such as the United Kingdom and others to take all reasonable action that they can within their power to prevent the genocide. It also makes it both a criminal offence and an issue of state responsibility if other states are complicit in the genocide by, for example, providing the means for it. And we've alluded to that in this panel. And finally, it makes it a criminal offence. And so we have, for example, in our domestic law under the ICC Act, it's a criminal offence for British nationals or residents to commit or to assist effectively in genocide, and that's something for which they can be prosecuted in the courts in this country. So those, I hope, give some food for thought in terms of accountability mechanisms. Thanks very much.